Sometimes there are moments in wrestling that remind you of why you became a fan in the first place and why it is so much fun to follow this stuff and watch this stuff week to week. Triple H said coming into the Elimination Chamber this weekend that the show would be an industry-changing event. And we get a lot of hyperbole from WWE. They throw all kinds of words and things like that around about how it's going to transform this, or it's going to, shake the foundation of that. We're so desensitized to it at this point. But for a change, this was hyperbole that actually lived up to expectations. And this show last night will go down as one of the most memorable nights in WWE history. And that is not hyperbole. The ending of that show last night will be replayed many, many times over the years for years to come. A lot of people have been underwhelmed by the road to WrestleMania so far. I did a whole segment about this a couple of weeks ago. I was feeling a lot of that too. And I said one of the reasons for that is we are missing some very big names. We're missing some key players in the television build to WrestleMania. John Cena had not been seen on TV at all since the Royal Rumble. Same for Roman Reigns. Randy Orton's been missing for months. They've been dragging this Jade Cargill mystery story out for months also, the whodunit. She hasn't been on TV. And in a lot of ways, it felt like we were in a holding pattern until they got a lot of these names back on TV. It felt like we were in a holding pattern until we got past the Chamber. Let's just get to the Elimination Chamber. Let's find out who the number one contender is going to be for the WWE title. Let's see who's going to be challenging Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. Let's get some names back, and then the pieces should start to fall into place. Would The Rock be involved at all in WrestleMania this year, or is he skipping the show? He showed up at Bad Blood, never said a word. He showed up on the Netflix premiere to sing the company's praises as Dwayne, the board member, and he gave Cody Rhodes his flowers like a total babyface. People thought it was strange how they seemed to drop the entire Rock and Cody story. It's like, oh my God, they're drinking Terramana together in the back. It was like a sin against all humanity for some people. He's killing kayfabe. He's throwing away a perfectly good story. The Rock told Cody last year, the night after WrestleMania, your story with Roman Reigns is over, but our story is only just beginning. So we saw The Rock at the Netflix premiere. We saw him with that very strange promo where he admitted he went out there on NXT and didn't know what he was going to say. That was clear. And then he went radio silent until last week when he reappeared. And he showed up on Raw in New Orleans to announce the WrestleMania next year was coming back to the Big Easy. And everybody, loved it and everybody cheered and went crazy. And then he said, that's not the only reason why I'm here. And he invited Cody Rhodes out to the ring. And that's where we got the promo where he told Cody, I want you to be my champion. I don't want this title. I want your soul. And that brought us into the Elimination Chamber because The Rock said he was going to give Cody until the Chamber in Toronto to make his decision. Go consult with your wife, talk to your family. I want you to be my brother. You and I could do big things together. And you give me your answer at the Elimination Chamber. Now, of course, the winner of the Elimination Chamber was going to challenge Cody for the WWE title at WrestleMania. So the two things tied together was pretty important to see who was going to come out of the Chamber match on top. This was John Cena's final shot, right? I mean, he didn't win the Royal Rumble. And so in his mind, the only way to get a championship match at WrestleMania to try to win number 17 and break the record was to win the Elimination Chamber, because John Cena has been on this horrendous losing streak, at least in terms of singles matches. He's been on this terrible luck and has lost many matches over the last several years. This was maybe his last chance in his retirement year to try to get that championship shot. So he went into the Elimination Chamber, and we had Cena, we had CM Punk, who has his own story going on. He wants to go to the main event of WrestleMania for the first time. Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins and Logan Paul and Damian Priest. And I mean, Logan Paul and Damian Priest, they were never going to win the Elimination Chamber, but you could at least make a plausible argument for any of the other four names that they could very well have won that match last night. But we had John Cena in there wrestling with CM Punk. It was like they never missed a beat, right? We got to see the interaction with them. There's a lot of good shit, and I'll talk about it. But John Cena wins the Elimination Chamber, which means he's going to WrestleMania. They saved the Rock and Cody segment, though, for the end of the show. So I just sort of assumed, coming into this, that Rock and Cody, that segment would go on in the middle of the show, and they would close the show with the Elimination Chamber on the men's side. And when I realized that wasn't going to happen, and they were going to actually close with Rock and Cody, it became very clear that they've got something very big planned here, because you're not going to go off the air on this show with a talking segment in the ring and not put the Chamber on last unless you have some kind of big twist or angle or something planned for the end of the show. So Cody is not just going to go out there and say, you know what, Rock, I think I'm going to take you up on that offer. Here's my soul. I put it in a box for you. I put a bow on it. And that's how they go off the air. So you knew something big was going to happen. Cody comes out to the ring. Cena's still out there. Then we get The Rock, who has Travis Scott with him. Triple H invited Travis Scott to come to the Chamber. Of course, he sings the Raw theme on Netflix every week. Rock and Travis Scott come down to the ring, and The Rock wants his answer. Embrace me, Cody Rhodes. I will take you to heights never seen before. I will make your dreams come true. Give me your soul. And Cody Rhodes says, Rock, I love the way they did the little tease where it was like, Rock, he's going to give him his soul, right? But he goes, I can't, because I've already given my soul to this ring. I've given my soul to all these people. He says, hey, Rock, go fuck yourself. Christian Cage telling Adam Copeland to go fuck yourself was one of those great moments in Dynamite history, right? In part because it was so unexpected. It just kind of came out of nowhere. He said it so matter-of-factly. Like, it was this great moment. Cody standing out there on a show that has been technically PG for so long, and standing in the middle of the ring here on this show and telling The Rock in no uncertain terms to go fuck himself was quite the unexpected moment. It was great. That's exactly what he should have said to The Rock after the stunt The Rock pulled on Friday night when he sent that video in and he talked about Cody's father. He has this weight belt with the date on there that Dusty died, and he's invoking the name of the American dream. If I were Cody, I would have told Rock to go fuck himself too. That was exactly the response that he should have given him. But it wasn't about that. It was about what happened next, because John Cena is in the ring and he's in the background and he's hamming it up, which he always does, but he's hamming it up and he looks so proud of Cody. And then they lowered the boom. And The Rock gave the cutthroat sign. John Cena's big smile, his big cheesy grin turned to this just stone-faced look like he was about to murder somebody. And then came the low blow. And then he picks up the Rolex. And he bashes Cody in the head with them. Michael Cole says it was brass knucks. It wasn't brass knucks. He picks up the WWE Championship. When I tell you that he hit Cody in the head with this title, like, you could hear the sound that it made. If Cody didn't wake up with a grapefruit on his head, I'd be shocked. Like, he belted him right in the head, I think twice, actually. Cody ends up bleeding, so we got some color. Cena rips his dress shirt off, Cody's shirt. He's choking him with his necktie. He's holding Cody down. Travis Scott is in the ring. He's holding Cody down, but he slapped the shit out of Cody, too. I didn't even catch it when I watched the show last night live, but there's a video going around of him. I don't even know if it was so much a slap or a punch, but he nailed Cody right in the face as he was laying there. And then Rock takes off the white weight belt, whips Cody with it, wipes Cody's blood on it, just like he did last year. Remember Mama Rhodes in the build-up to WrestleMania 40. And we get the visual going off the air. A bloody Cody Rhodes laying in the middle of the ring. John Cena being booed and leaving arm in arm with The Rock and Travis Scott. I said when they came out to the ring, it was like father and son. When I saw Rock and Travis Scott walking down to the ring, it's like take your son to work day. But there they are. They're all standing shoulder to shoulder in the aisleway as they go off the air. I mean, think about this visual, okay? In one segment, we had Cody Rhodes telling The Rock to go fuck himself, while Travis Scott is in the corner burning sage, and John Cena turns heel. Like, it sounds like the sort of thing that you wake up from and you tell your friends about. Like, man, I had the wildest fucking dream. I think I ate too much last night. Only that actually happened. And so now you see The Rock and Cena standing side by side. We got the Hollywood heels. We got the new two-man power trip in WWE. This was the greatest Elimination Chamber PLE that they have ever done, which I think says a lot considering it only had 4 matches. Like, it had to be the fewest number of matches that they have ever had on one of these shows. It has to be. And yet it's going to go down, if not as the best, it'll go down as one of their best. I think it says a lot about matches versus moments, matches versus moments and story. But it was highlighted by one of the greatest heel turns of all time. Second only to Hulk Hogan forming the NWO, which wasn't only shocking. I mean, that was transformative in what it did for the wrestling business as a whole. I mean, if you didn't live through that era, I can understand people thinking that last night blows it out of the water. You got a lot of people watching wrestling right now who are casual fans. They don't know about the history of the heel turns in the past and all that stuff. Or they just are either newer fans or young enough that they just didn't grow up during that era. And you have a lot of people who grew up with John Cena as the top guy. John Cena was their guy. He was their big baby face for so many years. He was on top for so many years. And that's what people remember. Ruthless aggression in the PG era, the reality era, all those different eras that John Cena sort of transcended throughout the history of this company. And so I can understand people looking at this and going, man, this is tops right here, right? This is just a number one. This blows everything else out of the water. I can't sit here and say that, but I do think it's fair to say that last night was this generation's Bash at the Beach, 1996. Definitely the most shocking heel turn since Steve Austin at WrestleMania 17. And this was better because of the way that they set the whole thing up. It's actually very similar to the Austin turn if they go with the idea that he's desperate to win number 17 in his final year. Like, what did Austin tell Rock before that WrestleMania? I need to beat you, Rock. I need to beat you more than anything that you could ever imagine. Austin had already won the Royal Rumble. He already had a guaranteed title match at WrestleMania, but he was so desperate to ensure that he would win that championship that he would end up siding with the man who was a thorn in his side from day one in that company, right? Austin versus McMahon. And there he is standing in the middle of the ring, shaking hands with the devil himself. John Cena already has a guaranteed title match at WrestleMania as of last night. He won the Elimination Chamber. But maybe he's so desperate to ensure that this is it because, right, he's made it very clear. This is his final year. He needs to win number 17 to cement his legacy, to make people forget maybe about all the horrible losing streak he's been on, to set the record. It's best for business. That's what he said after the Royal Rumble. If they take that tack with this story, it's very similar. There's a lot of similarities between the two. Only I don't see business dipping the way that it started to dip after Austin turned heel. That's one of the big differences. And look, there have been a lot of great heel turns in wrestling history. There have been a lot of great heel turns. Let's focus specifically on WWE, okay? Forget other promotions because that just opens it up to a whole bunch of other angles. There have been a lot of great ones over the years. Andre turning heel on Hogan to align with Bobby Heenan heading into WrestleMania 3. That's a pretty fucking big one. Bret Hart in 1997. But when I think of the top 3 most shocking, not even heel turns, I would say jaw-dropping moments ever in wrestling, storyline-wise, it's the streak ending at WrestleMania 30. I swear to God, I'm looking around, I've never seen so many jaws drop in my entire life, like just shocked expressions on people's faces. It was like somebody died in the building that night. I've never experienced anything like that in all my years of going to wrestling shows, and not since. So it's the streak ending at WrestleMania 30. It's Hogan turning at Bash at the Beach. And it's John Cena turning heel last night at the Elimination Chamber. And think about how we got there. I think it's important to take note of how we even got to this point. Let us not forget how we got Final Boss Rock last year. The only reason The Rock went heel and we got the Final Boss is because the people wanted Cody Rhodes in that match. He won the Royal Rumble. He was getting fucked out of a WrestleMania match with Roman Reigns, right? He was not going to be able to finish his story. He won the Rumble and was going to step aside and let somebody else take his spot. That's ridiculous. And The Rock realized that, and they changed course, and we ended up with heel Rock. That was not the plan. We were going to get Rock against Roman Reigns. But think about it. If we don't get Final Boss Rock and they don't take that detour, it's very possible we don't get heel John Cena, right? You can't say that for sure. Maybe it's something Cena wanted to do in his final year regardless. The way they've weaved it into the Rock and Cody stuff, it's entirely possible we do not get heel John Cena this year. if things don't change in the way that they did last year. And it's wild how one thing could lead to a domino effect in so many other ways, and sometimes it just works out for the better. What does it say about Cody Rhodes as their top babyface? That his run has led to The Rock, right, going heel and abandoning his big plan for a match with Roman Reigns. We got the final boss. He turns heel for the first time in 11 years. And now the impossible has happened. The one thing that we never thought would happen. I certainly never thought it would happen. I'd given up hope on this years ago. And yes, it does feel like it's many years too late. But I never envisioned that I would be sitting here talking about John Cena turning heel. Well, that's what happened last night. This all has happened under Cody's watch, with Cody as the top babyface in this company, and it gives Cody yet another obstacle to have to overcome. These things would not be happening if they did not believe in Cody as their top babyface. If the fans did not buy into Cody as their top babyface, and I think it says a lot of his value in that role, which is why I said it would be ridiculous to turn him heel right now. For all of the different scenarios that people were playing out in their head over the last few weeks, who might be the corporate champion, right? We've all been talking about it. We've all talked about the possibility that it could be John Cena or that it could be CM Punk. People wanted Cody to go heel. It would have been ridiculous. Cody is their guy. He is the face of the company. He is the guy that is going to be there every single week. Not John Cena. Not The Rock. Cody Rhodes is now to WWE what John Cena used to be. The only difference is people had grown sick and tired of seeing Cena doing the same thing over and over again for so many years. They were ready for a turn. They were ready for something different. And we almost got it in 2012 after he lost to The Rock. But Vince McMahon got cold feet and he changed his mind. Cena's talked about this. He was ready to go. He had a new track made, new gear made. He was ready to go. And Vince chickened out. But the fans were ready for it. Cody Rhodes has not yet reached that point where the fans are in rebellion against his push, right? They've grown sick of this guy. And I mean, there are people that don't like Cody and they think he's boring. I'm not saying everybody loves the guy. But you don't hear that in the crowd reactions every week. It's not coming through. We're not watching Raw and SmackDown every week and hearing the fans go back and forth with, let's go Cody, Cody sucks. Right? They like him. They believe in him. And what this does is it makes Cody an even bigger star. He finished his story last year, but now it creates a whole new one for him, especially if he loses the title to John Cena and he has to chase to get it back. One of the things, I'm not going to lie, that I got excited thinking about last night is the possibility that we could get a redo on what we did not get last year at WrestleMania, which would have been a tremendous moment, and it didn't happen, and I'm still kind of sore about it, but it could happen this year. Of all the cameos that we got in that WrestleMania main event last year, it really felt like their version of Avengers Endgame. The one big name missing from that equation was Stone Cold Steve Austin. You had The Rock was there, and Cody obviously was in there, Roman Reigns, The Undertaker showed up. Where is Stone Cold, right? If the glass would have shattered, oh my God, what a fucking moment that would have been if he would have stunned Rock out of his boots. And it didn't happen. Well, WrestleMania this year is in Nevada. It's in Austin's backyard, right? That's where he lives now. That's where the Broken Skull Ranch is. And I would be very surprised if we didn't get some kind of an Austin appearance at WrestleMania this year. I don't know what he would be doing, right? He's not going to wrestle. I know he had knee replacement surgery a few months ago. But now all of a sudden, I can envision a scenario where in the main event of WrestleMania and Cody is out there. He's trying to beat this guy. Rock is out there, right? Rock's out there in Cody's corner or Cena's corner. Cena needs some backup, and you hear the glass shatter. And this year, we got Austin coming out and stunning Rock out of his boots, right? I could see that. I could see it. Maybe I'm setting myself up for disappointment again, but I'm just saying they could redo it. They could get a redo on last year. But look, John Cena had to turn heel. He had to turn heel. If they wanted to give us John Cena in the main event against Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 41, this is what needed to be done. Because if not, what you end up with is John Cena effectively wrestling himself. And that's boring. This makes things far more interesting. It turns everything on its head. And it's very easy to explain. This man is desperate to win number 17 because it is best for business. And like he said at the Rumble, I need to win number 17 so that I could eventually shake the hand of the man who wins number 18. but he is so desperate to ensure that he is going to win that championship that he is willing to do whatever it takes. Look, there's any number of explanations that you can come up with for this. You could have Cena go out there and finally unleash on the fans for all the shit they put him through for so many years. The thing is, over the last several years, you don't really get that anymore, right? The fans have warmed up to John Cena. They've been cheering him for years now. The whole "let's go Cena, Cena sucks" thing, that's from many, many years ago. But maybe he never forgot about that. The majority of his run was spent with these mixed reactions. And no matter what he did to try to please the fans, it wasn't enough for some people, right? Maybe they tap into that. It's like The Rock. When The Rock won, he went from Rocky Maivia to The Rock, and he joined the nation, and he talked about the Rocky sucks chants. Rocky is a lot of things, but sucks isn't one of them. And all you people, right? The you people promo. It's a necessity when you turn heel in wrestling. You got to get the you people promo. Maybe he goes the you people route, and he taps into that a little bit. But that first heel Cena promo is going to hit like crack, right? Now, can you see me? Can you see me now? I don't know when we're going to get it. I saw Rock last night after the show said that Cena was flying right out to Africa for filming on something. If that's the case, we may not see Cena back on TV until St. Patrick's Day, because that's the next show he's advertised for. They're going to be in Brussels. They've got that big European tour coming up. He's advertised for dates in Belgium, in Scotland the week after that, and then in London the week after that, which is the end of the month. So it's very possible we're going to have to wait a couple of weeks. And that's not ideal. I think that sucks. But if they got The Rock on TV, if Cena's not going to be there, but we get Rock, at least that's something. You know, and I'm not saying that making people wait another week to get the explanation is a bad thing. Having to wait 2 weeks or longer than that I'm not interested in, right? We got to get this man on TV. This is what people are going to be talking about. This is what people are going to be excited about. So he may miss this week, but I'm hoping that by the next week we get him back on TV. And when we see John Cena again on TV, he needs to look and sound completely different. No more jorts. Somebody on the stream last night says he should burn them on TV. Sure, get a garbage can in the ring and set it ablaze and dump the jorts in there. The jorts, the t-shirts, the armbands, the baseball caps, all of it. The music, the presentation. I mean, God help us if they give him the Def Rebel treatment. I would like to think that if Cena was told he was going to get the Def Rebel special, he would be like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm going to sing my own song. You ain't giving me that. I mean, if Randy Orton could say no to Def Rebel, I would think John Cena could. But the music, the presentation, all of it needs to change. They need to go all in on this, and I think they will. I think they've already got that mapped out. Cena's been wanting to do this for over a decade. Now he's finally being given the chance. It's his last chance because it's his last year. I think that John Cena will have carte blanche to pretty much do whatever he wants, much like The Rock does, because why wouldn't he? I saw Brandy Rhodes on Twitter last night. She put out, John Cena sucks. And then R-Truth responded and said, we can't jump to conclusions. Which is funny because I was saying this in the review last night. I said one of the first things John Cena needs to do, sometime between now and WrestleMania, maybe not the first thing, but he needs to kill R-Truth. R-Truth is beloved by people, right? R-Truth has idolized this man. He has jacked this man's moves. He is still stealing Cena's moves in all of his matches. You want to put more heat on John Cena, you have him. You do an injury angle where he puts R-Truth out of commission. I know that Bronson Reed put R-Truth out for a while with some tsunami splashes all those months ago. This needs to be far worse. He needs to put this man out. We're going to get heel Cena. We need heel Cena. And think about all the possibilities now that this opens up. You know, does John Cena break the record at WrestleMania as a heel? And then go on a run defending the title against a bunch of his old rivals. CM Punk, Randy Orton, AJ Styles. Winning number 17 feels like it should be a babyface moment, not a heel moment. But there is a redemption arc for Cena later this year that will be told, because Cena is not ending his career this year as a heel. Right? We don't even know how long this is going to last. It could go all the way to WrestleMania and then end. It could be as short as the Shawn Michaels heel turn was in 2005. I think that was like 4 weeks. I hope not. I think there's a lot of fun to be had with this, and I would hate to see it end in 6 weeks. But we just don't know. We don't know how deep into the year they plan to go with this. I was watching that Elimination Chamber match last night, and I commented on the magic that is still there with John Cena and CM Punk. We have to get a singles match. When we get a singles match, now the dynamic has completely flipped because now it's CM Punk as the babyface, John Cena as the heel. Funny to say that the dynamic has flipped because back when they did it at Money in the Bank in 2011, it was already kind of like that because they were in Chicago. Punk was the hero and people were booing Cena, but Cena was still a babyface back then. And they had the SummerSlam match and they had that Raw match in 2013, but now the dynamic is completely different, which would make it even more fun. The promos, imagine the promos, heel Cena and Punk going toe-to-toe on the mic heading into a big match on a PLE. Sign me the fuck up. Because those two were in the ring last night going back and forth, trading spots like it was 2011 all over again, and the magic was still there. They're a lot older now. Maybe they don't move the way they used to. And Cena's a lot, he looks a little bit different. He doesn't have the fade. Needs to get that spray tan going to be like the old Cena, but the magic is still there between those two. That's what hit me when I saw them working together last night. Cena and Randy Orton. Every John Cena-Randy Orton match I think that we've ever had was babyface Cena and either babyface Orton or heel Orton, but Cena was always the constant in that equation. But now you get a heel John Cena against the babyface Randy Orton. Again, everything is flipped on its head. John Cena and Roman Reigns. We're going to get another match between them. I mean, hell, this even puts a new spin on Joe Hendry calling John Cena out for a match in TNA. Only now Cena would be the heel. I don't know if it's actually going to happen, but it definitely makes it more interesting than it would have been before, right? It shakes everything up. That's what I love about this. It shakes everything up. That is what this build to WrestleMania needed. This is the shakeup that this build needed. And I look ahead to WrestleMania in New Orleans next year. Is Rock and Cody the destination? Is this another 3-year story? Like Cena and Rock had. It started at WrestleMania 27 when Rock was kind of involved in that main event with Cena and Miz. That was the kickoff. And it bled into the two matches they had. One at WrestleMania 28, Rock won that one, and then finally at 29, and Rock put Cena over. It was a 3-year story arc. The Rock and Cody stuff, that started last year. And The Rock pinned Cody on night 1 of WrestleMania. Now it's bled over into this year. Do we get the payoff next year with Cody getting that win back over Rock from night 1 last year? Is that where this story ultimately pays off? I know what Rock said last week about how, this doesn't have to pay off in a match. At the end of the day, this is pro wrestling. And people want to see these stories pay off in the ring. So yes, this does need to pay off in a match. And I think WrestleMania 42 would make a hell of a lot of sense. Maybe they want to still do Roman Reigns and The Rock at some point. Because at this point, I'll tell you this, the match to do is not Rock against Roman. Not that it wouldn't be a big match. That's not the match anymore. At this point, the match is Rock and Cody. If Rock is ever going to wrestle again in a singles match, that's the match to do.